徐将退。
I'm really not exaggerating whenever I say this is the tactical shooter that I've been waiting on for 12 years now. MUDANG 2 Hearts is set to come out in 2026 on PC and consoles, and honestly, it's not soon enough. The reason I say 12 years is not because the game has been in development for that long, but it is because the last time we saw a game like this was 2013. Ubisoft.
Why aren't you doing anything?
So to see a game that has the same ilk of Splinter Cell, of Last of Us, Metal Gear Solid, and Ghost Recon all rolled into one, it's a really good feeling. And this game's not coming from Ubisoft, it's not coming from Naughty Dog, and no, Konami aren't involved either. It's a South Korean studio called EVR Studio, and it just might be the most ambitious tactical shooter that's being made right now. Here's everything we know so far. MUDANG 2 Hearts is a cinematic third-person action game that's being built in Unreal Engine 5. And at its core, it's a story-driven, stealth-heavy, tactical experience with dynamic combat and performance-captured realism, where they've captured weapon handling, squad tactics, and close-quarters combat, all based off Korean Special Forces techniques. Pretty cool. Now, the world and story of MUDANG is set in a politically tense, near-future Korea, as EVR describe it, on the verge of reunification when things explode and a terrorist attack hits Seoul's National Assembly. You play as Yi Jong-tae, a North Korean operative embedded in the South, but the developers have stressed this is not a war story. Also caught in the chaos is another playable character called Gavi, a K-pop idol from a group called Ordo, entangled in a conspiracy that threatens both nations. I cannot wait to see what that's about. And what EVR have said is what follows is a journey about truth, manipulation, and uncovering the forces pulling the strings behind it all. It's pretty cryptic at the minute, but the more I read and more I see about this game, the more it's on my to-play list. 100%. What EVR Studio have said is that they are going all in on stealth and tactical combat, which is music to my ears. I mean, I know I said it at the start, but it is crazy that it's been this long that we've had to wait and still not get a new game that comes close to what Splinter Cell gave us back in 2013. The missions in MUDANG are open-ended, so you can approach it tactically from so many different angles. Approach from the rooftops, use the vents, break through walls, you can climb ladders and buildings, and you can even sneak through pipes. And the enemies, they react to everything. I'm talking footsteps, missing soldiers on patrol, gunfire, of course, lights that are off that should be on, and a lot more. Expect the enemy to adapt and flank, call for backup, or sabotage your cover based on your playstyle. There's a real emphasis on realism, and as I said before, all the weapons handling, squad tactics, and close quarters combat that you see in the game is based off the Korean Special Forces techniques, and I think that's a really important thing to lean into something that is already naturally human. You get a more authentic result in the end, and I think these guys really understand that. And there's boss fights as well, the kind that test everything you've learned up to that point, and not just your aim. You'll have access to tools like goggles that use night vision and thermal, EMPs, mines, lures, and much more, enabling both the options for lethal and non-lethal approaches. When you compare this to Splinter Cell and Metal Gear Solid, which are known for gadget-heavy stealth and environmental interplay, MUDANG wants to promise a similar toolkit with added flexibility and destructible spaces. It feels like they're building upon what we already enjoy and making it better. And again, that is the kind of thing that we're all looking for, I can say for sure. Where the likes of Splinter Cell would usually funnel you through a covert corridor, MUDANG wants to let you forge your own path a little bit more freely. Now, it's not open world, but it is going to be open-ended mission design that's going to let you choose your approach however you want to do it. Whether you're a stealth purist or a full-on John Rambo, MUDANG seems to be taking the best of both worlds, the gadget play we would see in Splinter Cell, and the open-ended level design like in Metal Gear Solid 5. And that added destructibility could really take this immersion up a notch and make the game even more interesting in terms of how creative players can get when approaching these missions. Now, we've touched on the enemy AI a little bit, but let's just talk about this a touch more, because I feel like we're in a state where very little of these games manage to get the AI right. Metal Gear Solid 5 and Last of Us, in my opinion, probably some of the most devastatingly smart enemy AI that I've encountered, and I am hopeful they're going to pull influence from those games and build upon it. Metal Gear Solid introduced some incredible enemy AI adaptability that I'd never seen before then, where if you tried a mission and you failed it in a certain way, when you came back next time, the enemy would have revised their tactics, their loadout, their patrol styles, and their reinforcements, and I thought that was always such a cool thing to do. And then when you look at Last of Us, the enemy AI are extremely smart, but its stealth detection would sometimes be a bit inconsistent. And MUDANG wants to promise a more robust situational awareness for its enemy AI, which I can only hope is going to be amazing, but time will tell. MUDANG wants to take it a step further with real-time tactic shifts. So not just something that happens after you fail the mission, watching the enemy actually change how they're behaving and switching their tactics based on how you're playing. Splinter Cell AI often was scripted in responses, which you can really see when you watch back through videos of it or play it yourself. As cool as the experience was, it was almost too predictable if you'd played it enough times. Ghost Recon enemy AI, well, it tends to rely on set patrols, and honestly, it's pretty bad. I would say of the four I've mentioned there, the enemy AI in Ghost Recon, especially Breakpoint, is really woeful. It's taken mods like Spartan mod to basically make the enemy AI a bit more aggressive, make them more curious, and adjust it in a way that is just better than the original. Which is cool, but it is a shame because there's console players who then have to play with the AI as they are, and they're not completely awful. But when you see the potential in games like Metal Gear Solid 5 and The Last of Us, you know that there's room to grow. And I think AVR are watching all of this, they've done their research, and they're wanting to make enemies that feel brainier, but they're not bullet sponges. So they can truly respond dynamically and actually use your tools against you. And I think this could completely redefine stealth tension in games. But enough about what I think. What do you guys think? We've had open world stealth experiences and tactical shooters. Do we need to be done with open world? Is open-ended missions enough to satisfy what we want? If it's single player only, is that okay as well? Or do we need a multiplayer aspect with this when it comes out? Personally, I want to see what these guys have in store for us, and I really want to trust this vision that they're setting up here. And I guess until I get my hands on it, I can't say much more than that. Stay hopeful and stay vigilant. Let me know what you think. Leave a like for the algorithm if you could, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.